All right, let's go ahead and get started, and we'll talk about TOR. So, guys, this is TOR Hangout number 12. 12. I got an echo. That's cool. We always get echoes. I've got to change my poster. I've got a World of Warcraft poster up there. Somebody send me a Star Wars poster, and we'll get that taken care of. This is a fan-run and completely community-based hangout done on Google+, and we're going to talk about TOR, but what we're going to do is let everybody introduce themselves. We'll start over on the left, and I am getting an echo from somebody. Who's that coming from? So, Andy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us how often or how early tomorrow are you going to be checking your inbox?
Well, as he said, I'm Andy Wood. I am probably the only person in our guild that actually owns a comic book store, so that will always help you identify who I am. Who's the comic book guy? Andy Wood is. Tomorrow morning, my alarm is set for 6:15, so I can make sure I'm bushy-eyed and wide awake, and I get a caffeine jolt, maybe from a jolt, I'm not too sure. And I'll be sitting there until I have to leave for the comic book shop, which is around 8 o'clock. But I can still monitor my email from there and see what's going on. And I will not admit it, but I do have it installed at work.
Well, you own the store, so it's no big deal, right?
Right. Until a customer walks in and I'm totally ignoring them. I'm going, hang on, I'm tanking this. I'll be right with you, okay?
All right.
So,
well, glad you have you here.
Time.
Daniel.
Hi guys, I'm Dan or Esh or Fazzer, depending on which circles you know me from. I actually do a lot of streaming for the fan site TORcast, and as such, I am going to be up bright and early, around 6, waiting diligently next to my inbox for that invite so I can bring you guys the TORcast stream 1 to 15.
Doesn't he look excited? All right.
He looks excited.
Gustav, it's your turn. You might have to unmute yourself, and then afterwards, if you could mute yourself, bro, because I think you're the one echoing.
There, I found the button. Alright, I'm Gustav. Most of you might know me as Reading, which is my name I usually go with. I'm the administrator of Forest Heal, a healing community, and I will sleep with my phone, which actually beeps when my email will come, so it wakes me up if I'm asleep.
All right.
Yeah, that's probably it.
All right, awesome. Jason, introduce yourself, my friend.
Yep.
As he locks up.
Am I next?
No.
Jason, I think disconnected.
Yeah. And somebody's going to try to pounce on him. Hey, Luke.
Poor Jason crashed.
My name is Luke. My character's name is going to be Refferth. I'm actually going to be on what server? Black Vulkars is the server I'm going to be on. Yeah, I live in Wisconsin and excited to play.
You just made us all panic because we're all going to our websites and our notes to figure out what servers we're on. I don't remember the name. Now, Melissa, you can go.
Yay! I'm Melissa, also known as Malice on Torocast at www.torocast.com. I am also known as Malice on the Guild Genesis, the West Coast PvE Empire. Yay! We have a new web address it's www.genesiswotor.com. We're on the server TOR. Yay!
Awesome. All right. And I am Mike Norton. I'm the one who got crazy enough to start these things, and we're now on the 12th week. We're ready for launch, which is going to be a lot of excitement talking about here. I'm the Guild Master of Redeemed, and we are on Brook Lamar. And if I screw that pronunciation up, well, then, oh well, because it's new to me. I actually looked it up. Kind of a cool guy. A jerky guy, but kind of cool. So let's go on next. Oh, I'm going to be up at 4 o'clock, bright and early. And I will be sitting here.
You're nuts.
I'm probably not getting in at 4 o'clock, but I'll be sitting in our guild's
I'll
mumble.
be awake the entire night.
Helping. Yes, see, that's nuts. I'm going to be helping with getting
That's
invites and
even
stuff in. So that's who I am. And let's go to, we'll go to JR real quick since he got shoehorned in. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend, and then we'll go back down the list.
I'm JR Cook. I played WoW forever. So ever since the release of WoW, I'm gonna play Star Wars. So hopefully I get in tomorrow. I had it pre-ordered the first week, so we'll see.
Awesome. All right, Rio.
My name's Rio Baldwin, Reese Baldwin. Member of Diabolic. We're on the unofficial Oceanic server that we've just found out there, putting all the Aussie people and Asian people out there. So it's unofficial though, unofficial.
Nice.
Swift Shard or something like that.
So you didn't have your cheat sheet up, did you? All right, good to have you here.
And we're the biggest guild that's on the server, so that's going to be interesting. And we're
Nice.
all about owning them in PvP, so we'll see.
All right, Spencer.
I'm Spencer. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, so down with Wisconsin, whoever that was. Boo, go Bears.
What? Oh.
That's how it is. Come on. I am on Vrook Lamar. I am a member of Redeemed, and I have my Droid X set, so it'll play the Imperial March. Nice. It'll play the Imperial March as soon as I get my email, and then I will be awake and bright and bushy.
All right, awesome. That's a good plan, as a matter of fact. All right, Steven, who are you, my friend?
I'm Steve. I live out in Indiana. I'm also a Bears fan. Chicago's only a couple hours away. No Spencer forever. Came together. Yeah, I have my plan to be up at. I'm on Eastern time, but I'm going to be up at 5 in the morning. I got a slab of ribs to throw in the oven. I'm going to make up a nice breakfast, steak and eggs. Yeah, I've been waiting a while for this.
Awesome.
He's going to fill up, get tired, and fall asleep before he can hop in.
Yeah. I'll probably pop out of the hangout here shortly and watch on Twitch. Get ready for bed.
All right, let's go ahead and talk really quickly then about the news from this week. It's been kind of all over the place, and a lot of it actually happened today. Just really quickly, there's this whole thing about armor matching system that I want to talk about really quickly. Who was in beta and actually knows what the armor matching system is and what we have to look forward to when it comes to that? Just say something, Melissa. You don't have to hold your hand up. Hey, me.
Me.
It's just I talk a lot.
I did not say that.
I can have a chat.
Yeah, the matching system is where it would be a toggle where you would click match the colors to the colors of your chest piece. They had taken that out during beta for the longest time, and they're working on putting it back into beta. The reason for taking it out was because you can only design a pair of boots so many different ways without using color. And it didn't make getting the rewards as rewarding, really. And there were some also technical issues with it.
Okay. And how many people got upset that it was out of the game?
A lot of people.
those who knew about it. That's right. The first thing after
Those who knew about it.
Yeah, after the build that they took it out, we were like, "What the heck? I look stupid."
Yeah. We all thought it was a. But
I could not finish my PBJ. I was so upset.
no, we all thought it was one of the coolest features that was implemented into an MMO to date. At least I did. And for them to remove it without so much as a word kind of upset a lot of people. So I'm actually thankful it's going to make it back into the game in some way, shape, or form in the future.
You know, those of us who maybe played more games than I do, is that actually a part of any other game? I know we can dye armor sets in some games, but is there a matching system in any others?
Not really. I mean, there are some games that you can color coordinate manually, but nothing that really automates the process.
So this was a cool thing, and yeah, they did say that it's not coming in for launch, but hopefully they'll get back to it in something else different. So it'll be kind of cool. I'm looking forward to it, because how many of you played WoW during Burning Crusade? And you went through the portal, and you replaced all of your epics that you got in vanilla for some really uber green gear that looked absolutely hideous. If first of all, if you were a female caster, you ended up looking like something. And then if you were male, everything just did not match. Yep, clown coordination, that's right. So it is nice to have this, and let's hope it gets back in there. One of the other cool things that's going on, or the big things, is a lot of folks, besides withdrawals from the game, is they're having withdrawals from the forums, which boggles my mind. But the forums will be coming back tomorrow.
Cool.
Nice.
completely
Yeah, they're
white.
supposed to.
Go ahead.
They're supposed to come back with the early access.
With the early access, they're going to be completely white, sparkly clean. How many are going to try to go in and get firsts?
Me.
Not me. Well, of course you're gonna. Yeah, that doesn't.
Just
surprise me.
because. Just because I want to be like first.
And then it goes away. And so there's also going to be, we're assuming server forums, which would be nice for like stuff happening today. But forums will be back, and the cool thing about that is you have to be a paying customer in order to use them. Yes.
Oh, cool.
All right, then.
I will live vicariously through someone that wants to get on the forums.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm hoping we can keep it to a positive community, but we'll see what happens. Head Start starts tomorrow with rolling invites, starting at what time?
7 a.m.
7
EST.
a.m.
4 a.m. PST. I'll let you all add 3. We all had this discussion earlier. Yeah, starting nice and early. And how many of you are actually, in the chat room and watching? How many of you are going to be sitting there camping your inbox? I know I will.
I'm going to have to filter Google Plus because I think there's going to be a lot of people. I'm in. I'm not. I'm in. I was in. I got bumped. Yeah.
A lot of QQ. Yep. Okay. And with that, it's who wants to tell us what you've seen in Twitter and all that about how are they going to do it? Is it all going to be just at 4 a.m.?
They're going to do waves of invites. So each day they're going to.
I have the
do a
Stephen
few
Reed
waves.
Of
Yeah,
course
there.
you do.
Did you just call Stephen
course
Reed
you-
a twit? That's recorded.
I was using it as a noun.
Oh, okay. So they are going
It's
to
a
do waves.
mechanism.
And
He twitted.
the waves are going to be nice. I'm very excited about that, and hopefully, I'm kind of hoping, I'm speculating, and I'll probably be totally wrong, that we may actually see everybody in by the 14th, which would be great. What do y'all think?
I've heard the 15th.
I think they'll kind of just go and see how it goes. If their servers are having a hard time with the amount, then they'll maybe let only a few people, not as many in, and they'll kind of regulate it as it goes. So.
Okay.
Well, I think they got some good numbers from the Thanksgiving weekend because they opened that up to thousands
Everybody?
and thousands
True.
of people.
Yeah.
And from what I saw, even though some of the servers said they had a queue, I would hop into a queue and it would say 500, and that 500 went so fast you'd think, oh, I can go get a beverage and come back, and wham, you're ready to create a character. Or the ones that said full, you actually went right in. So I'm thinking that BioWare did a really good stress test, got their numbers, and are able to look at who's coming in and say, okay, let's open up the floodgates another X percent and so on, and they'll be able to adjust accordingly.
Yeah, they're up
Yeah,
to
they're-
98 servers, and there were about 30 in the Thanksgiving beta.
Yeah.
And there was 2 million people that played on the Thanksgiving weekend, so there was 900,000 US pre-orders. So I mean, you give or take some numbers, and they're pretty right when you think about it.
Yep. It's going to
From
be
what I
huge.
hear, the weekend after the Thanksgiving, they actually took out a lot of servers, and there were quite a few complaints that the people that had that weekend to test had very long queue times.
Well, what they did is they moved it down to the general beta servers and let everybody come in. That was actually a really good test. And even then, the queues weren't too bad.
I didn't
They
have a
were
queue that
long
weekend.
enough. They were long
just-
enough.
I just learned from the weekend before and just didn't log out.
Yeah, on that particular weekend, I was on Darth Malik for that
Oh,
weekend.
that was a heavy one.
That was the PvP server, the only.
I was
one.
on that too. Yeah, it was good fun.
Well, we were on
And
Leviathan,
I
and
think-
it still had a little bit of lag queues, actually.
And I think my queue for that was probably anywhere between 20 minutes to an hour, just depending on time of day.
Okay.
It was the longest queue one from what I seen. Darth Malik.
Yep.
So, any speculation on what do you expect to happen with the Head Start for yourself, maybe your guild? This is one thing that being a guild master, we've been doing a lot of crunching and trying to navigate stuff. And I know, Gustav, you've got some situations with the European issue that maybe you could talk about a little bit.
Yeah, sure. It's a real pain because a lot of the servers are, well, it's people are moving servers already, and it's really messy to like really get to know. Well, the server I was running on, basically, there were a lot of PvP-focused guilds that moved to this one, and we had about 2,500 more people. Like half an hour after we knew this, there were 2,500 more people than originally, and it was just a pain because we're not even focused on that. So, and then trying to find a new server is a massive pain because there is like a big rumor that the Russian people who are gonna invade a random server, and they're even like threatening to invade some servers just to like piss off people.
Okay.
It's just a big pain.
All right. Any other issues with that? I mean, it brings us into the next thing, is talking about the guild servers and the whole news and everything that we all camped out, Twitter and G Plus today. Guild servers were announced today. How many of you got your announcement? Were happy, not happy? Let's talk about that, because there's several things. The emails went out after we all knew, because we were all like camping the guild site and crashed it again. But how was that experience working out for you? Since this is totally new, I know there's no MMO that's done this with the pre-guild system. How you
I feel really, really bad, because I think I'm the only Aussie in my guild, and it seems like the whole guild's been shoved on the Aussie server, or the so-called Aussie server.
Okay.
So whole 190 of us are the biggest on the server now. So, and it's quite, if you look, a low population per guild server.
Now,
so I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, did you guys get auto-placed there, or are you moving there physically?
Auto-placed.
Okay.
We all got the email. Guild's been talking about it. Guild's been going. They said they're going to give it a try because of the hour times when they want to PvP and when they want to play. They're still going to be able to do that, but then the off hours, that's when the Aussies are going to be playing, so they're going to be able to do that as well. So they thought it might be a good thing for them. So.
Okay. I know a lot of people had some discussions in Twitter and on G Plus about how they determine the placement, and a lot of folks were starting to look at just basically red versus blue, the number of red versus blue, and they're trying to think that there's a big imbalance and all that. But David did say that the numbers, and he doesn't know the math and how the system worked out, but it is supposed to be doing it by population. So you've got a lot of small guilds and then a couple of larger guilds. But how are you guys finding this? Besides, I guess the Australian thing, that's a totally different situation.
Well, I know for us as TORcast, it's a little bit of a different situation, because we have two guilds associated with TORcast, one Empire and one Alliance. Yeah.
Freudian slip. Drink.
Freudian slip. Yeah, one Empire and one Republic, and our Republic guild got placed on one server, and our Sith Guild got placed on a completely different server, which caused a little bit of a mess this afternoon. Thankfully, we got it worked out. We are now on Volcare Highway, both servers. It's a matter of one re-rolling.
Sure.
But we experienced a mess.
Okay.
Does the system work? Probably. But in terms of balance issues, I think what I looked at, it seemed like our server was basically a 3-to-1. 3 Sith guilds to 1 Republic guild, and that's what it seemed like to be on Prophecy of 5 to the guild Tormented. Our Sith guild was originally placed on.
Okay.
Our server was the same as well as that 3-to-1.
And did you all discover the way to get the actual, kind of working list?
It was like 1,200 to 700, my numbers I've seen.
All right. We had a friend, because when on our guild, or our server, when we would go to the search part, when it lists it under guilds, it wouldn't exactly show everybody right, and if you tried to sort it, it would then throw in folks from different time zones and even different countries, so that system was broken. One of our guild mates actually posted a way to put in the search criteria, in the URL, and it worked out pretty good. And we actually, for a while, we thought we were the largest guild on our server. It turns out we're not. We're fourth largest, which is fine with us because we don't really want to be the largest. And that really worked. We've posted it in the G Plus stream, so hopefully folks can get a hold of that and see what your actual numbers look like, because it isn't working quite as intended on the website. So with that, now, with the problems of what other problems are we seeing with the guild servers that you guys maybe have noticed this afternoon? I know I'll throw out a topic to discuss already. We've got several groups of folks that are already trying to, or organizing to pull off of the servers that they were probably assigned to in the first place and move to other places. There's a huge RP group that's moving to Lord Adras, and then there's the whole group of PvP RP servers that they all have to move physically because they were not part of this system. How do you think that's going to look? How's that going to affect the whole community?
I think it's going to be messy. To put it simply, I think it's going to be messy.
Okay.
I think it's going to disrupt the economy. If it happens the way I think it's going to happen, I think it's going to disrupt the economy. I think it's going to disrupt population numbers. I think it's just going to be a mess.
Okay. Trying to look at chat here, see if anybody's got any suggestions there. Is anybody?
I think it all depends on how many people go from one location to another. If it's a couple guilds and we're talking 20, 30 people per guild, I'm not so worried about that. If we're talking a couple guilds with 500 people each, all Sith focused, and they jump onto there and unbalances everything, I think that's when it's going to be messy. A couple people, small guilds, not a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of randomness just from people joining that don't have guilds either. I mean, the server populations are going to swell. They might not even be looking at the guild levels starting off either, so we got to take that into account. It may just be the name of the server, like a lot of us were mentioning this afternoon. Oh, it's got a cool name. It's going to get in.
Oh, that's true. All the cool name servers are going to get hit hard. And the other thing, think about this is totally different than any other game. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us here were for Rift's launch, and trying to coordinate that was a nightmare. And people were going towards the coolest sounding names or what they thought, or coordinating on other forums and systems. So that, yeah, I still think this is going to work really well. I'm not stressing out about it. Before the hangout, Gustav sent me a G talk, and he's like, "Oh crap! I can't believe what's going on." I'm like, well, "Just relax, just let it go." He didn't agree with me.
I think it'll all work itself. I mean, it might be a little messy at first, but I think it'll all work itself out in the end. I mean, there's advantages and disadvantages to being on super high population servers, whether the ratios are off or not. So, I mean, I was on a super low population server, and it's nice because you can kind of get your name known in that sense, Then I've played on so many different servers, and there's advantages to every different server. So
that's right.
And is it better that they did something for the pre-launch so that we at least have something to look at, rather than nothing at all?
I think so, because let's think about this. This, I don't care what all the spin doctors are going to try to say. This is going to be the largest launch of any MMO in history. I mean,
I was about to say that. Yes.
2 million people just in the betas over a couple weekends. That is a metric crap ton load of people. And so those coming into this is going to be huge. So the fact that I'm not as worried about it as some might, I think it's going to work. But it's going to be messy, sure.
I think what everyone will be happy for is A, they can get connected, B, they can get in the game, and the rest after that for even guild people, that's like the cream of the crop. That's the icing on the cake. And I think most people are just A, excited to really play, but then there's the other tier people that want to get in their guild, start getting organized, start doing the things for the guild. And I think, like the other gentlemen say, it's going to work its way out. Any company that can just off the first day have everything squeaky clean, yeah, I would have their baby if they could do that.
Yeah, it's going to be a mess. But that said, I don't know a launch wasn't a mess in some way, shape, or form. It's going to take a few weeks for everything to balance out, like other people have said.
Every MMO has had massive problems, and the majority of them, and I'm sure everyone will agree, is any MMO that went live usually suffered from the number one thing was lag. because it just couldn't handle the capacity.
Lager queues.
So
yeah.
here's my question: 2 million people in the beta over Thanksgiving weekend. What do you think it's going to look like when it goes live on the 20th? How many people?
Well, according to everything we've read, and the 2 million thing was actually, I think, spread over the 2 weekends. I don't think it was all on one weekend. I'm not sure. But I think everything I've read is that they're actually not as expecting as big of a chunk of folks coming in during this pre-launch as were during those betas. Anybody else have anything to say about that? Because I could be really
I haven't
wrong.
read anything.
I read an article that they said they weren't worried at all about the pre-launch. The numbers, yeah, they were lower than Thanksgiving.
I haven't read anything personally, but I don't think that it's going to be pre-launch is going to be a big deal. I think what's going to put the hammer to the servers or December 20th. That's what's going to put a real stress on things.
Yeah, that's my question. Come December 20th, when it goes live and we're done with the pre-launch, what do you think the numbers are going to look like? I've got a buddy who asked me about the game 2 days ago. I told him about it. He's pre-ordered. He got like 6 other people to pre-order, and he's like super excited now, which, you know, irks me a little bit because I'm like, really, dude? We've been around here forever waiting for this, and you're coming in, 5 days before.
Get off our lawn, you wet behind the ear
But my question is, come the 20th, what do you think the numbers are going to look like?
That's the thing that a lot of guilds are asking too. What are those numbers? Because everybody's got free access for 30 days practically. We bought the game.
Yeah.
I mean, with the instancing and stuff, it looks like they can have higher server capacities than a lot of the WoW servers. I mean, I don't know what the populations could get to. We're looking at like guild populations of 5K maybe on the high end. I mean, we could be looking at 30, 40, 50. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, just looking at the numbers already, if the filter is working right, we have 160 guilds that are placed on our server alone, and then you just kind of crunch the numbers. That's a lot of folks.
Well, according to this report that I'm reading, in November they reported that at the time they estimated 1.5 million subscribers have pre-ordered the game.
Okay.
And that's just based according to Eurogamer. So if 1.5 million buy it, and we're saying that over the 2 weekends of Thanksgiving and the weekend after they had up to capacity of 2 million, I think, again, I'm going to go back to what I said. I think they're going to be able to control and throttle the pre-launch, but yeah, when everyone has full access and says, hey, I should be able to get on, I think they're going to open the floodgates wide and keep a heavy monitoring on it so they can make sure that there's no issues and hopefully can do hot fixes on the fly that won't impact too severely.
All right.
Anyone want to speculate a number on the 20th?
I can't even. No.
I don't want to take my shoes off. It's too cold.
All right, I'll be brave since I just jumped in here.
Yeah, why don't you introduce yourself, Adam?
Hey, everybody. Adam from the Cantina Band.
What's up, Adam?
How you guys doing?
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to guess by the end of that first week, we're probably looking at 3 million people hitting this game.
Adam, did you just have a wild animal hop in through the window behind you?
I saw that too.
That is so cool. Well, unless it's not yours, then dude, look around. Yeah, that one. There you go.
That would be Queen Cleo, Her Royal Highness.
Yeah, it looks that way. I would agree with you. I actually think that's probably a conservative one too.
I agree, and I am being conservative with that.
Because
number.
the one thing I keep bringing up every single week is the fact that we are going to have so many players in this game that have never played MMOs simply because it's star flipping wars. And they're all old, like me.
Yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say, knowing what we had over the Thanksgiving weekend, knowing the pre-orders, and then Christmas, you got to remember, the 20th is 5 days before Christmas. I'm going to say 8 million people. I'm putting it out there. I'm going big. 8 million people.
Wow. That's.
I might go with you by New Year.
That's a big number.
I was going to say 5. I was going to say 5.
I would also say that you buy a lot of lottery tickets in whatever state you're in.
Wow. Okay, so let's go ahead and with the guild stuff. Anybody else have any problems with waiting for your guild to be announced today?
Nope.
I got my email when everyone else did.
Yeah, it was all smooth. Everybody that we were expecting to be allied or adversaried with carried over just the way we planned.
I did want to mention something about
we're good
that.
to go.
I did see somebody. I was trolling the SWTOR tag on G Plus, looking for new people to add to the circle and ruin their lives with all the ads. But I found one guy. He was really upset because they didn't get their adversaries and all that. And I asked him because I was curious as to how they did it. And unfortunately, they did it the way that BioWare said wasn't going to work, and that was daisy chaining. So anybody that tried daisy chaining, it didn't work. You had to actually have both guilds connect to each other in order for it to work.
Yeah.
Which seems to work well, and I think that there was a rumor going around. It was like a 90%, match that worked most of the time.
Yeah. Apparently, we were in the that 10% that didn't work well.
Well,
You didn't follow the eHarmony rules.
Torment and Tormented as PvE as West and East Coast guilds?
No, we were. All the settings were the same.
Huh.
It was kind of odd.
All three of our allies and adversaries matched. Huzzah!
Had too much uberness in your guild, and they decided they had to split it up.
We do. We are the largest on our server.
We're talking about him.
I had a friend on an East Coast server, but I didn't even bother to add him as an ally because I'd rather choose somebody that's more likely,
Well, and I think some people were actually confused about that because I had several that wanted to ally with us, and it's like, well, you're PvE and East Coast, and you can try it, but the system's going to tell you you're not a match because we're West Coast RP. Yeah, and that too.
Yeah, we had the same thing. We had the same thing happening. People I didn't know that I didn't mind that they were trying, but it's like, guys, you're going to a PvP server, we're going to a PvE server. That's just not going to suddenly change. So, yeah, we made sure everything lined up. There was one guild that didn't. We were hoping, but we knew it wasn't probably going to happen. So,
Now, everybody in the chat room, do you guys have any concerns about the guild system so we can make sure that everybody can kick that around? And we wait for them.
This is going to be fun.
Because there's delay. While we do that, let's go ahead and move on to the first thing is, I said with this guild thing, how much fun was that? Some of us, we just jumped in a random hangout and we're watching the news feeds all day and trying to figure out how to do stuff. We were watching Dan go through a little meltdown trying to figure out his little ordeal. Like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, just relax, go with it. It's going to be cool. It's going to be fine.
No, don't drink another Mountain Dew, dude. You're killing yourself.
Yeah. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about the Friday updates, and we're going to talk about fan sites and all that good stuff. The Friday update was the Sith Inquisitor character progression thing. Who ended up walking into the sunset, or actually walking into the camera.
I watched it 12 times.
Did you?
I think this video was made in order to make people not want to play the Sith Inquisitor. It looked dull and boring, and oh my god, why is the sorcerer wearing a neck brace?
I think only the Bounty Hunter one was the only good video out of all those.
Yeah, all those videos, the outfits they would choose were, in my opinion, not the best outfits to choose a lot of times. Like, I've seen stuff that was way cooler on an Inquisitor than what I saw in that trailer, To
me, it seemed like those videos are kind of all made for, like, a younger audience in a way, It kind of made me seem like they were made for, like, the 10 to 15
Probably for the people that enjoyed episode 1.
Yeah. Well, there was a bunch of it's PR, and so I think it did its job to get people excited about the class they wanted to play. I know, I liked the headgear on the Sage better than the. Sorry, I'm getting
well, to play devil's advocate, to play devil's advocate here, don't most of the Inquisitor abilities rely on lightning?
Yeah.
So how interesting can you make lightning?
Okay, here's lightning, and here's more lightning, and hey, guess what? We got lightning.
Wow, more lightning.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They didn't even showcase any of the stealth. None of it.
We didn't?
Yeah, they did.
I thought they
Remember
did.
he walked around the
he walked
areas?
around. Yeah. He was sneaky.
You just didn't see him because he was stealth.
She was hurling.
Yeah, I'll agree with Brad. I like bits of it. I think we're at the point now, and this is something that they mentioned in they had a fan site meeting with a bunch of folks in Ventura the other day, and they were telling us that this was the last Friday update because it takes a lot of stinking work to do these things, and yeah, it does. So, if they stop doing these fan Friday updates and put more into like getting a skill bank right away, I'm all for that.
Yeah, exactly.
With all the updates, I'm sorry, that they've had the progression of certain character classes. If anything, and okay, now first of all, no flaming. Okay, I'm not a big Star Wars fan. I like Star Wars, but I'm actually more of a Star Trek fan, and I was actually really on the fence of getting on a Star Wars MMO when at the time I was actively playing a Star Trek MMO. But
I'm sorry you were playing the Star Trek MMO.
No, don't be sorry about that. That's okay, sir.
Well, see, I was a Trekkie too, and I got very disappointed by it. That's why.
Do not feel bad about it. I have a lifetime sub to Star Trek Online.
It's the same here. The thing that once I saw the companion video, I went Amazon.com. So, if it can take a Trekker or Trekkie for the old people, and sway them to go and look, this isn't just created for your pleasure. This is actually majority of it in-game video that you're watching. You're going, they are doing this right. And I don't care, really, if people want to call it WoW with lightsabers, because they're taking elements from MMOs that have done it correctly.
Yep.
And that is absolutely fine, because if anything, that gives you a much better gaming experience. And quite honestly, when I took a look at the crafting, I went, yeah, I'm going to get back to that, because I'm going to go over here and talk to this guy about getting some batteries and charging him, because I understand that versus this crafting, because I know I'll have plenty of time to figure out crafting.
All right.
No, I agree. Everything he said, it 100%.
The other update was you can pre-download your game. How many of you have not done that? I mean, I think everybody's been trying to do it every day for like 18
I've been
times a
launching
day.
every day just to make sure. Are there any new patches? Anything change? Come on.
There was a little one today.
Yep.
So
there was
a little one. So we should be ready. So if you don't have your game pre-downloaded, why not? Go do it. Be ready.
What's wrong with you?
If you don't have your game pre-downloaded and you're watching this Hangout or you're on the Twitch right now, why?
Yeah. Download.
Hello?
Bandwidth. You don't want to look at our faces. Yeah, it's not that bad unless you live in some really off the wall country.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I will put out a word of warning. If you need to call customer support right now, you're not getting through. I've been trying all day long. I had an issue. My account's currently locked. I'm scared to death that I'm not going to get in tomorrow. Matter of fact, as soon as this Hangout's over, I'm putting it on redial every 15 seconds for the next 18 hours. I don't care. I will get through. So just a word of warning, they're backed up.
Okay. This just in. I'm going to read some stuff. This just came in on Twitter. This is from Steven.
Yeah, Stephen Reed. Yeah.
You're seeing
First,
like
early game access officially starts at 4 a.m. PST. Second, emails will go out, and after that point, in waves, yes, we'll tell you when the emails will get sent via the forums or Twitter. Third, no, not everyone will get in tomorrow. We are strictly allowing people admittance by when they redeemed pre-order codes. Fourth, all server types will be live tomorrow. PvP, PvE, RP, PvE, RP, PvP. All servers available to all. No EU, US, or guild restrictions. Fifth, if you're in the pre-imported guild, no, that doesn't get you priority access, but your guild server will be there when you get in. Sixth, no, you don't don't ask when you get in. We will let you in a lot of people tomorrow, but not everyone. If you're not in day one, don't explode. Number 7, the forums will be back up for all of you who have redeemed or pre-order code. Number 8.
Just before 7 a.m.
Just before 7 a.m. Yeah, I'm blind. Servers will be up tomorrow, not the final list. We will be adding more during early game access. I'm going to repeat that one. 8. Servers you'll see up tomorrow are not the final list. We'll be adding more during early game access. And on a side note, there is no official list out there, guys. All the lists on the fan sites we're going to talk about, those are all speculations.
They're all extrapolated from beta data.
Yeah, I'm afraid I have no further updates on retailers and shipping, but it's moving about at a very high level. More tomorrow on that.
And that's one that impacts me personally.
10th, as a community...
Can we stop on that for a
Sure.
second, Mike?
No, I like the 10th.
Hey, let me get the 10th one. We'll come back because it'll be done.
I mean, if if we don't get the product, I mean, that's going to severely impact a lot of people, but is it because some people have ordered and didn't expedite shipping, or why are people stressed out about that?
If I may throw this in,
Sure.
I actually talked about this with Scott Johnson on the Instance last week. I literally pre-ordered my collector's edition on Amazon.com within 15 minutes of Stephen Reed tweeting out to the world, the pre-orders are now live. So I was right there. Because I pre-ordered before there was a release date, it sold out. They then had a release date. The sold-out product that was pre-ordered ahead of time isn't updated with day and date shipping. I have at this point 1-day shipping on my product, and still, despite all of that, I am being told that it will show up on my doorstep December 22nd. So
That's the 2 days you won't be able to play.
Right.
I'm 2 days. I'm tentatively going to get shut out of the game because they're not offering a grace period.
Well, I shop a lot on Amazon, and I think that's just a CYH on them, a little cover your hiney.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll find that once it ships, and even though you'll see a tracking number or a delivery confirmation, their estimate, Amazon's estimate, is always generous to give them
A lot of people
good,
are hoping.
a good smiley face. But once
That's what
you
we're
hit the
hoping.
once you hit the actual tracking, like UPS or FedEx, you'll have a more accurate. And I have yet to been let down by Amazon.
Same here. I want to preface that I've done the day and date release thing with Amazon before, and I've never had a problem with it, even when I wasn't expecting it. But it will suck big time if my reward for being excited, right on top of it, and being willing to pay the most money gets me shut out of the game for 2 days when everyone's jumping in, and that's not going to be any fun. So I'm glad that they're taking it seriously. They're aware of it. Now, whether that fixes, they come around and say, all right, we're going to give everybody 5 grace period days to get your code in just in case. Mm-hmm. That will go a lot further for them than worrying about making sure they get dollars for everything the very first day,
Well, if I can take that 1 degree further, I'm actually part of the Walmart people that got the email that says, your stuff has been canceled. And and even when you go online, it says, sorry, your stuff has been canceled. But then again, BioWare, as they care about their customers and their fan base, they were actually on a Sunday getting a hold of a higher-ups to say, what's the deal, and that was able to get Walmart to put an update out saying, look, the email you got for the cancellation was wrong. There was a system glitch. Don't pay attention to the status. We have plenty of product. Of course, I'm paraphrasing. So, yeah, you can kind of suspect that the plastic pants I was wearing that day got a little usage.
Let me read the 10th one here real quick, and we can deal with that more. The 10th thing, this is, as a community, you're the craziest, most passionate, most devoted people I have ever had the pleasure to work for. Thanks. And that's from Steve. And then he says, and now I'm going home and not get much sleep. I have to say, from a standpoint of a fan and somebody who's worked in the world that has to deal with people a lot, these guys have done a pretty good job. And
they have.
Absolutely.
There's going to be some that will QQ and complain anyway because their self-entitlement's bigger than their britches. But, I say kudos to them. And this is no small task, launching a game of this magnitude.
Nope.
No, not at all.
Even
I agree.
Right. Even when Star Trek went live and they had so many problems, they actually gave everyone that had an account at that time, they gave them an additional 30 days credit. That's fine. If I can't get connected for a couple of days or I keep getting bumped, I'm going to understand, because you can't make everything hunky-dory day one. And if you can, man, you're coming over for Thanksgiving dinner. That's all I got to say.
All right.
Yeah, no, Stephen Reed is in a very enviable position. There has never been a more important community manager role out there for any other game ever than where he is sitting right now, and that's between a rock and a hard place. So I've been very impressed with the way he has handled himself over the last couple of years, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you follow those dev trackers, some of those people get downright juvenile and just real nah, 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 nah. And he's going, hey, look, I understand. And it's just like, The guy's like a Buddhist.
Well, I've
agree.
I've definitely appreciated Steven and also Gaylord on G Plus as our huge representative in the G Plus community, how they've just dealt point blank and said things as close as they could the way they are without catering to the whiners. So all good stuff.
I mean, who would monitor the forums on a Sunday and be that much concerned with Walmart? You'd think, oh, they'd just wait till Monday come in, but they were all over it on a Sunday. So I was.
And let's go ahead and talk about community fan sites real quickly, because that's one thing that's, the site's been down for a couple days now, and a lot of people have been going nuts. And there's a lot of great fan sites out there. We've got some representatives of fan sites here tonight. There was supposed to be a couple more, but they didn't quite show up. That's all right. We'll have time to do this in the next few weeks. But I want us to talk about the importance of fan sites for people remembering, and this is something I keep driving in. People are going to tell me, Mike, would you just shut up about new players? But we are going to have so many new folks that don't know anything about MMOs, and this is a great opportunity for us as players and fan sites to be able to steer them in the right direction and not treat them poorly, as some online communities may be apt to do. And so go ahead and let's talk about the fan sites that are represented here, some of your favorite fan sites, and how we can use that to help build the community up and make an awesome one. Go.
Okay, I guess I can go first. I'm actually a part of the TORcast community. I do a lot of their streaming, and for us, community's very much important to us. That's kind of the direction the podcast is shaped and is going. It's going back to community and back to guilds, and it really gives us. Community is really about the people, and we want to give people an avenue to express themselves and to really participate within community without being bothered or flamed by trolls that you inevitably will find on official sites anywhere. So really, it comes back to community for us.
Okay. Anybody else? That's awesome.
Personally, just my opinion is I'm kind of overwhelmed to a point that there's so many fan sites out there and it's so hard to follow all of them, and it's just kind of overwhelming for me. I mean, it's like, which ones do I follow? I mean, I'm following...
Follow TORcast.
That's one of the ones. I mean, I've been following Force Heal, and I have been following TORcast and things like that, because I'm like a healer. I love healing and stuff like that, but it's just... You start Googling, and you start looking, and you just find so many websites, and there's so many fan sites, so many different communities. It's kind of a question on, I guess we'll kind of see down the road which ones kind of emerge as the ones that are being more often used and the most often updated. It's kind of, there's different niches, and there's different fan sites for each type of personality. So
I get that overwhelming, because I've kind of been going through that too. For those who don't know, I do. We focus primarily on the podcast that myself and Brian Brushwood do, and it really just stemmed from we were both really overly excited about the game and wanted an outlet to talk about it. And early on, looking around, I listened to Tor Wars, I listened to a great many of what's out there. I'm very familiar with everyone's work. That you all do a similar thing, but you bring your own voice to it, but you're all doing kind of the same type of thing. You're all sharing the same kind of information. And as someone who wanted to enter that arena, you become very aware very quickly that you don't want to keep doing that. And so this is a good... I mean, I don't know. That's tough. It does feel like there's some in-pockets happening. These groups talk to these folks, these groups talk to these folks. And it would be nice for us to find an easy way for us to all interconnect a little more.
Okay.
Because, like what Brian and I are doing, I don't think competes in any sort of way with what you guys are doing. And I would, if any of you have ever listened to the show, and if you haven't, I encourage you to give it a try. It's more of creating content based on the stuff we're interested in, but we try to make it unique content. So even if you are listening to 4 other podcasts and visiting half a dozen fan sites, you're at least getting something that's a little fresher, and different, so that it mixes it up. Does that make sense?
It does, absolutely.
Sure. Sure, and I think it boils down to which niche you're trying to go for. I know with TORcast, we're trying to go in a direction that's more entertainment spurred with a little bit of information versus 100% information.
Make them laugh, make them smile.
Exactly.
Well, let's hear from some non-fan site guys. How do you go about finding the information that you need, or find a great site that you like to trust and find, what makes you tick?
Torhead, Warehead, because it's established, stable, the name's there. And also, I was going to mention something on the guilds. On my guild's part of a thing called SHA, Server Health Alliance, where a bunch of goodies and baddies guilds have joined together to just make a better community, as you said. So that's another thing that I've seen is good with this game.
Okay. Uh-oh. We got to mute.
Well, creating a better community through helping each other out. So I suggest you guys have a look and put a link up if you want. I don't know, they do take applications, so it is everyone come and join, and we'll all try and get together and help each other out. So I mean, now with this whole server split, I don't know if anything's happened, if we've been put together or not. I haven't checked on that yet, but yeah, it's probably good to look at.
Okay.
And also, I know my guild is doing a lot of individual people are doing Twitch and Justin TV streams as a bit more media thing as well. So obviously, because of the high def age and everything, it's a lot easier, and that's why it's good.
Okay. How else do the rest of you, find information?
I find a lot of it just from other players I get to know. I like to get into a lot of the spec stuff, and I'll usually find a really good player and be like, well, where'd you come up with that? And they'll just give me a tip to one site here, one site there, and then I just start building up a library.
Okay.
A lot of it's word of mouth.
Okay.
It works really well, because some sites will be good for a while and then maybe fall off.
All right. Awesome.
What I found
the dev tracker was always the best information, because they always, whenever you find a site talking about it, they usually linked back to it, and you'd find, oh wow, they're being upfront and honest with all the information that's going on, and even if someone says, hey, I heard a rumor, they confirm it, deny it, and they won't do the whole I can neither confirm nor deny. So I've always relied heavily on their dev tracker.
Okay.
Sorry. Me too. I enjoy that dev tracker a lot. I'm always
dev
going
trackers. I learned that trick years ago when I was playing Star Wars Galaxies. The easiest way to cut through all the noise is look at what the developers are responding to.
All right, Spencer, you were trying to get something in there?
Oh, I was just going to say that for me, I tend to look at a lot of different things because I want to get as much information as possible. I know what I want to play. I know which kind of spec I want to go into advanced class. So I take a look out there. I'll listen to people's podcasts, and then I find what tailors and suits for me. And typically, I'll be more willing to share that with other people and point them in that direction. Say, hey, this worked for me. It may not be great for you. May not be what you're looking for, but there might be someone on there. I've met a lot of great people on Google Plus that run different podcasts and different fan sites. And I tend to not get a lot of work done.
Yep, I hear that.
Well, let me also, everybody who follows me on Google Plus knows I'm a huge Google fanboy, and that I really think that having this social platform above and even beyond Twitter, and I don't even mention Facebook anymore. It gives us the ability to do some gives us the ability to do some really deep sharing, and I really think, and if it's just me, just tell me, Mike, you're an idiot and you're dreaming. The engagement we have in this community is really awesome, and I think that's helped lead us to a lot of folks. And we're slowly getting guys that are on some of the fan sites that have been around for a long time to start engaging in this community as well. I still remember even the day that Stephen Reed finally posted something on G+. It was right after Google introduced Pages, and somebody squatted on the SWOTOR page and actually labeled it the official. And everybody's like, huh? And it caught Stephen Reed to come over and actually post and say, no, this isn't us. We don't have an official presence here yet. But there are several within their ranks that do like to use it. And so I think that's awesome for the community. And what else can we do to help encourage that? Because
if
go for it.
If I can throw in here real quick, Mike, you have done I've been watching from the outside for a while now. You have done an amazing job of taking your time in beta,
No, stop.
your passion for community, and sharing it out with everybody, no matter which niche they're in. If someone remotely has expressed any interest in the Old Republic, you're very quick to bring them into your circles, and I really, really appreciate that. Ironically, both myself and officers from AIE have constantly referred people to your tips because I've been in beta for a while, and I'm very much of the mindset: take your time, whatever, you'll figure it out as you go. Don't be a min-maxer about it. But for the folks who do want to study everything beforehand, very quickly became apparent the easiest way to get them the info without me having to stop what I was doing was to point them to your stuff. So, kudos to you, Mike, for doing that.
I agree with the gentleman, and I would say that, Mike, you are quite the expert when it comes to toting the fine line between fan and passion. And fan being above Fianna.
This wasn't supposed to be about me, dang it. Okay. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, my guild uses the tips too, and they're like, "Oh my god, these are awesome! Yay!"
I appreciate it.
Well, his avatar always waves, and it hits me right here, Mike. I love it.
Okay, go ahead. I don't know where to go from here. So
I was just going to say, I've really enjoyed the Google+. I've enjoyed the community there. I'm looking forward to seeing what the community grows to be on Google+ and what it becomes, because I think it's going to become even better. I think the more people we get in, we have some great people, in this Hangout today, but great people on there. Mm-hmm. They're going to help mold and shape the community for what it's going to look like, for years to come. And I think that we're doing things the right way as far as that goes, community-wise.
My only bummer about this whole thing is all these people I've been watching and sort of sharing my Google Plus space with, and all these different fan sites. We aren't able to all be on one super mega server. You know what I mean? We are fractured when it comes to when we get in the game and play, and that's the one thing that's a bit of a bummer about all this.
Well, sure, but here's where my passion also comes in on that, is the fact that even though we're spread across different servers, we have a platform that we can continue to bring these common things together and share and work with each other. I mean, it's just awesome. Not only just the SWTOR circles, but we've got sub-circles of those. We've got GMs that are talking about guild leadership and fan sites talking and stuff like that. And so it really comes down to that, about the community. So I'm a broken record. We'll just keep
and the nice thing about this community, at least that I've noticed so far, that whether you're involved with the G Plus circles or whether you're involved with any of the fan sites, really it's not about competition and getting viewers to watch or listen to your medium. It's about a collaboration. It's not about competition whatsoever.
Well, right, because we have some vested interest, and that vested interest is we want this game to succeed. And the only way the game's going to succeed, it's going to be awesome, and we all know how awesome it is, but if the community doesn't succeed with it, then in 6 months to a year, it's going to go the way of every other MMO that's come out in the last couple of years.
And I think but that's where we all come in. We are all key in setting the tone for what our server's quality of community is going to be. And I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about that.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think that's what we've learned from other MMOs, and that's why it's happening, because it's a subconscious thing that everyone's just like, no, we're going to make a stand this time, and it's going to happen.
That's right. Make a stand. That's
Very, very true. The Care Bears will win, thank you.
We can say no. Using anal spell name every other sentence in trade chat is not acceptable here.
Exactly.
I want to reflect on one thing that, and I'm sure people will know who I'm talking about. One of the companies involved in this has been notorious for killing MMOs, and I'm wondering if anyone has any insight on how BioWare is going to be able to keep control, because I've been on a couple of games that were actually fairly fun until EA stepped in and started doing some pushing and pulling. The Space Above and Beyond, I believe, was the title. It was fun. It was a nice spacefaring. It had crafting. It was not any sort of single avatar that you would walk around and do stuff. You were always in a ship. There was, of course, Star Wars Galaxies that fell by the side. They've had actually quite a list of games that they were the infrastructure engineers behind, and because they started cutting costs and stuff like that, the actual MMO suffered and then eventually fell by the wayside. And that's why everyone I talk to about this, and when they say EA names on it, I say, yeah, that's got me a little bothered, but according to BioWare, they're calling the shots, but I'm just wondering who actually owns the IP. Is it EA or BioWare?
Yeah.
It's
George Lucas.
It seems creatively we have very much. It seems creatively we've been very much in BioWare's hands. That it feels like BioWare, it smells like BioWare, it tastes like BioWare. That's the game we're getting. And I've been like, nah, EA is just distributing, whatever, no big. Well, obviously, like we talked about earlier, with these weird no grace period and people being told they may not have their game, it's like there's the problems creeping in with EA's distribution and marketing, getting their fingers involved in the the launch of the game. I don't know. The thing that separates this from the other projects that have been canceled and mentioned by the wayside is that we can already tell this is probably going to be the biggest launched MMO ever, and most of us have touched the game. We all know the quality of what's in there. This game's not going anywhere for a long, long time. Space Above and Beyond had a passionate following, not a huge following. Star Wars Galaxies had a passionate following, not a huge following.
Which is what it comes down to is for EA to stay committed to it. It's as long as it's making money for them. And that's where we have a part as well, because if we're helping the community stay strong and interested, then that helps them make money.
Yep.
And that's a very good point, but I'm curious. I actually, in the back of my mind, and I'll probably get flamed about this, I'm estimating inside 24 months that TOR will actually be free to play. And that's actually where they make more money.
I kind of agree with that. I originally was thinking the game was going to launch with no monthly sub. But when it did, like my friends in the industry pointed out, they need to really recoup their investment cost
early. And there is a huge
not later.
investment in this project.
Yeah, there's a huge investment in this. But you're right. In 2 years, very much see them making the core game completely free to play. I can completely see that.
I've heard a few people say that this is going to be the last monthly subscription MMO.
I think so. I think you're right. I think you're
that's
right.
Correct. But and I don't think it's a bad model. And I'm sorry to go off base because there's a lot of games I've actually gone back to because they're free to play.
Same here.
And
Sure.
they're even more enjoyable because they've had all this time to hone things and make change and mature. Very good word. And I actually enjoy playing Lotro again and not looking forward to that monthly. $14.95. Oh, I'm playing 3 games now. Great.
Yeah.
I hate the microtransactions though, because you gotta have money in order to get the good stuff.
That's not entirely true.
You just have to be strong-willed.
And it also depends on the game too. You're right. Being strong-willed, and it depends on the game. EverQuest 2, they tried the free-to-play model about a year ago with a special server, and I jumped in and tried it out. As someone who likes PvE and I really love exploring, I was looking for something to fill my time while waiting for Old Republic, and I would have never tried the game if they didn't go free to play. And then when I got in, I started having fun. Now, it's true. I ended up probably collectively spending a good $150. Oh, I can buy a bigger backpack right out of the gate? Okay, I'm buying that. I can buy a mount, like at level 1, I'm going to buy that.
Sucker. Well, that's the model.
Here's what I did. It was during a time when I had some extra money, and I looked at it and I went, I know at the end of the year my expendable money is going to be tight. And I looked at it and went, I'm enjoying this. Having a mount, having a bigger backpack, going to make all the difference in the world. I got no problem, spending money on that. Other than those two, those kinds of items, everything else was always cosmetic in appearance that they made available in the shop, And they gave players the option of, if you're going to be looking at endgame, you want your spells and your gear to be endgame level, which is supposed to be a subscription thing. They gave you ways of paying into that, obviously, to unlock that gear. But if you never got there, which is what happens to a lot of these MMOs, you're never going to pay that money anyway. So it is about being strong-willed and figuring out, well, if I spend $100 now, I'll never have to think about it again. And it's true. Whenever I've logged in and played since then, I've not had to worry about, I feel like I need more hats.
You know what also ruins the. You know what else microtransaction ruins? Everyone take a drink. Immersion, because there's always those player-made shops sitting out in front of the newbie areas, just spamming.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen at this point.
Yeah,
you know,
we're all speculating.
If it's a subscription-based game, which I do feel it's probably, like a lot of the experts have said, probably going to be the last one, and who knows where it goes from there. But right now, we got to focus on here and now, and that's that we actually get to play this game. Some of us starting tomorrow with characters that are going to progress, and we don't have to have wiped every couple of weeks. That's exciting.
Real quick, can I throw real quick?
Yeah.
With the reveal of the legacy system, I'm curious. I went from when live starts, I can finally take my time, because I was power leveling to get into Act 3 when I was in beta testing. And it was like, live's going to come, I'm going to take my time, I'm going to smell the roses, I'm going to go get every datacron, I'm going to unlock every codex. Oh, legacy system, one name per server at the end of Act 1. And then I was like, I am now racing to the end of Act 1 before I can now officially take it easy to unlock my
Which
legacy
is like,
name.
what, level 30?
30,
30-ish.
35, depending on where you are.
We actually talked
See,
about this in our guild meeting last night. I suspect, because there's a lot of people complaining about this, and I can't see Daniel Erickson in particular being happy about that, because think of how many people are skipping story just so they can get their name, and they've got to bounce it out eventually, I'm sure. And who knows? I'm speculating.
So is anyone else going to be racing to unlock a legacy name?
No, I'm not.
You know,
I'm
torn.
I mean, I got a few last names. I'll be okay.
I think if your legacy name is unique enough, you're not
Solo.
going to have to worry about it.
Sorry, I had to do that.
I think
Unless it's like
Skywalker
Hero of the Smiths.
No, and by the way, I'm sure Skywalker and Solo are going to be absolutely locked. Let's hope so, or else we're going to have to kill some players.
Oh no! Didn't you see the naming list? The naming rules?
I'm going with Calrissian.
You should see these naming rules. You can't use any of the usual. You can't use lead speak. You can't use like stuff like XXX name here, XXX. You can't.
But everybody knows the more X's you have, the more Uber you are, right? Come on.
Yeah.
That's what I'm told.
You can't use variations on the name.
Sky Vader.
Like Ham Solo. You can't do that. You can't use the names. You can't use anything that's like any references to names. They're very strict on it.
Can you use Bob?
Yeah.
George.
It all depends on if they allow special characters, because people can find a way around those rules with special characters.
Yeah. You watch. You'll see people. You're like, really? I'm going to have to report you for that? Come on.
Yeah, and that's mostly what they're doing, is they're covering themselves. They're giving themselves leeway, so if somebody does report it, they say, well, look, it's in the list.
I have a rampant officer in our chat room right now. I'll have to get on her later.
I'm really torn on what to do, because I would like to get in and lock in my legacy name, but I don't want to do it at the expense of missing stuff. And now in the beta, I took a Jedi Guardian up to about level 17, level 18, so I'm pretty confident that I can kind of burn through that stuff. I took my time doing it over the 4-day Thanksgiving weekend. I could have been 17, 18, after like 24 or 36 hours, but I took 4 days to do it. So I may take a big leap and get up to around 20-ish, and then slow down. I'm torn though. I mean,
now, I want to make it clear, I'm not happy about this idea of having to skip through the content, but for the record, I have seen the Jedi Counselor storyline up to 40 twice. So if I have to kind of power through to 30 once, I'm willing to do that. So,
personally, I think anyone that's concerned about their legacy name is probably a dedicated fan. They probably pre-ordered early, and they'll probably get through content fairly fast, even without skipping stuff. So I think anyone that's concerned, you'll be okay, because you'll probably be playing within the first few days, and you'll probably get to 30 before the majority of the people.
Right.
So
that's true.
And be careful being really super excited on the forum saying, hey, I want this name, because some trolls are going to say, I'm going to get that name.
Yeah. Dude, on podcast, I've been asked when I was live streaming beta, people are like, what's your name? I'm like, I am not whispering a hint of it, people, so stop asking,
Okay. Go ahead.
I actually have a question regarding this. Are you gonna choose, like, for your legacy name, are any of you thinking of getting your actual main character's name, and so that way people can recognize your main character's name when you're in your alts, or are you getting an actual surname for your characters?
I'm choosing a surname. I when I played Galaxies, this is how I tied all my characters together, was with a surname and a story that explained why the human was related to the Zabrak. You know what I mean? And that name I'm going to carry over and use. So I'm naming my characters knowing what their surname's going to be.
I'm the same way. My main character has a first name and last name already, and I'm using that name, and I'll just use that for my legacy name until we can change it. Because I'm a little bummed, and there's several that are bummed that, my wife, we can't have the same surname.
Yeah, for me, I'm actually taking, and for those of you who know me personally, I'm taking an old nickname of mine and using it as part of my legacy name.
Sure.
I'm stealing a name from Skyrim.
How original!
Why doesn't that surprise me?
Although I shouldn't give you a hard time because the majority of my character names come from C.S. Lewis. So. All right. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I'm doing the same thing as Daniel. Yeah, keeping it the character name, and I've used in a lot of other MMOs, which is actually a WoW reference, and I've been debating using it or not because I don't really want to use it for that reason. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to be killed. I'm stealing Lewis's. Man, I can't do that. We're coming to that point where we want to go ahead and let everybody pimp their guilds and their sites. We've already kind of done that. I got my warning for dinner. We all know how that goes. And so, if you want to go ahead and tell folks about your guild, where you're at,
the guild
absolutely. If Mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. So, go ahead and throw out your guild pimpage or your sites or what you want to talk about and how excited you are for tomorrow morning. It's like Christmas.
All right, I guess I'll take a shot at this. I'm Ash. I'm from TORcast. You can visit us at any social media site /TORcast. You can visit us at TORcast.com. I will be hopefully up and early tomorrow morning at 4 a.m/7 a.m. streaming on Twitch TV /TORcast. The server we're on is, if I can find it here,
Prophecy of the Five.
Something Highway.
It's not. It's Valkyr Highway. It's VULKAR Highway, and we have a guild there called Torment. That is our Republic side guild, and we have a guild also there called Tormented, which is our Cis side. Hope to see you there.
Awesome. Who else?
I'll jump in. For those who haven't checked it out, you should. We're primarily just the podcast, but we do have a site, thecantinaband.com. I do that with Brian Brushwood. For those of you who don't know him, he does several other podcasts. He's kind of well known, does some stuff with Revision 3. And our show is basically we grab one of his famous web celebrity friends, and then we get them to tell us about how excited they are about Old Republic. It's a lot of fun. We're not a weekly show. We are like a tri-weekly show, depending on how Brian's schedule shakes out. But because we're not a timely newscast, we hope that the conversations are engaging and entertaining, and you'll at least give them a try. And, our guilds, Diamond Club and Not Safe for Wookiees, are ending up over at Keller's Void, both our Republican Sith guilds, and we're going to be now throwing down there.
Let me ask you real quick, Andy. Is that where AIE is
Sure.
ending up? Or Adam, is that where AIE is ending up?
Yep.
Is that at East Coast?
There as well. Yes,
East Coast RP?
server. So we already brought a whole ton of awesome to our server. So if you're looking for an awesome server, Keller's Run might be the place to come visit.
All right.
But thanks for having us on, Mike.
Oh,
I really
bet.
was really
It's our
wanted.
pleasure.
I saw a lot of the regular fan sites run tonight, and I wanted to kind of extend the olive branch to say, hey guys, we love your stuff, and we're here too, and we're in it for the long haul. We're not going anywhere.
All
so,
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Who's next?
Yeah.
I am Malice at the Genesis Guild, which is the West Coast PvE casual guild on the server TOR. You recognize it from KOTOR 2. It's the cantina with the deadly gas. You can find us at GenesisSwotor.com. Woo! I also work for ToroCast. Yay!
Okay. Go, Gustav, hurry. Just go in there.
She will also be on the stream tomorrow morning at some point.
Yes.
Got to wake her butt off of a Skyrim there. She took an arrow to the
I don't
knee.
think I'm sleeping. I don't think I'm sleeping tonight. That's the problem.
Who's not sleeping? Woo!
All right, Gustav, tell us about Force Heal. Oh, yes, I'm still here. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, sure. I'm getting tired. But, yeah, Force Heal. It's a healing forum for healers, obviously.
It's really late over there, guys. He's half asleep, so...
I know, I understand. I understand.
It's been a rough day. It's a healing forum for healers, obviously. We're like attempting to be a very unbiased fan site where we're trying to help everyone get together, like the community. Currently, we're doing some attempts on getting a lot of bloggers in to help them advertise their blogs and get them together, get them talking and stuff like that. And yeah, we're kind of we have a lot of visitors right now. So if you haven't checked us out, go check us out.
Awesome.
There's a link in the chat.
Nice.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
I'll hop in and plug guildredeem.com. Spencer, I'll be Corn in game. I love to tank. Guildredeem.com is where we're going to be over on Rook Lamar server, and we're looking forward to having a good time there. Also, I will repeat, because I'm crazy and I'll stand by it, 8 million people by the end of this year. And if I'm wrong, what are you going to do? I'm on the internet.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
And for those,
Pretty much what he said, so you can go get dinner.
for those who are wondering, there are going to be some more tips. A lot of folks have asked about them, and so once we're in game, we'll be able to film them, and we'll just keep putting those out till people, get sick of it. So, and thank you everybody for coming. This is, the show, not show. This is a hangout. We're not pros. We're just a group of people that like to talk a lot. Thank you, everybody, for coming in and hanging out in the Twitch TV chat room. You guys are awesome. I do wish one day we could get more than 10 people in here. It would be really cool. And thank you, guys. We will see you all in game, hopefully, tomorrow.
Yes.
All right?
Tomorrow. Fingers crossed.
And like is our tradition now, the hangout's going to stay open so you guys can sit and chat, and I'll probably be back in about half an hour, so just do whatever you want and enjoy yourselves. All right, guys. Thanks again.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Good night, guys.
Later, Mike.
Night.